Today we're going to be answering the age-old question of who is the hardest hitter in the UFC pound for pound, and we're doing it in the form of a power level spectrum here. We're doing it in the form of a tier list, S plus through F. We got a bunch of tiers here. I'm sorry about all the colors on your screen, blowing it away like it's a goddamn pride parade, but I'm excited to talk about this. We're talking about pound for pound, who has stone hands, iron golem hands, who is packing the most amount of power in their striking, and on the contrary, who has the pillow hands, who are the softest hitters in the UFC, who's somebody that represents a lack of urgency and danger and power in general on the feet. That's what we're going to be talking about, okay? Trying to break down the tiers here, just starting off. So the S plus, I'm specifically going to be reserving for two fighters who I believe every time they walk in the cage at this point, I'm genuinely worried for the life of their opponent, their safety, their family, okay? They're hitting that hard. They're consistent with it. I'm saving the S plus as very coveted and elite, okay? The S, these are somebody who, they're powerful as fuck. They hit fucking hard, okay? These are the fighters who, even from the first 60 seconds of the fight until the last 60 seconds of the fight, and I'm not talking about like a Leon Edwards head kick KO in the last minute. I mean somebody who has so much power that you have to be dialed in the entire fight to avoid getting KO'd, okay? That's the kind of power that S represents. A is still pretty good. It's dangerous power. They can take out your lights at any time, but also there's not as much specific danger every single fight or every matchup, or you're not concerned for your life, basically, okay? But A is still hitting hard. You can rack up your fair share of knockouts. Now, B plus, what separates it from B is that B is pretty much just, you have above average power. Now, B plus is that borderline where you don't have as much devastating power as A. You're not racking up a bunch of knockouts, but you're giving your opponents a reason to be concerned. You hit somewhere in between great power and above average power, if that makes sense. Good power, one might say. Now, the C tier is just average power, on and off with it. There's not too much danger or threat, but you should still be a little concerned. It's average power. The D tier, now these guys are a bit lacking, okay? A finish here and there, every blue moon, but other than, not to sound white as hell there, but other than that, man, there's not much danger, especially for their opponents. They're pretty comfortable to get in the pocket with these guys. Now, the F tier, these are the pillow punches of all pillow punches. They're lacking the power, no finishes, or barely any at all, whatever it may be. But these are the guys that are hitting the softest. Now, just getting into the tier list here. I swear to God, I'm already out of breath just breaking down the tiers. Let's start it off, man, because we got about 100 goddamn fighters. Shara Magomedov. I feel like this is a good example of somebody who is in the B tier. It's above average power. You should be concerned, okay? He can get his fair share of, what is it, like double spinning back fist, or just in general, like, he can crack you. He does have a couple of knockouts, but the thing about Shara Bullet, the way he usually is getting his knockouts, are just when he's going life and death with Mikhail Alisejczak or Marc-Andre Barriou. What's getting him ultimately the victory, and what's ultimately, a lot of people do love his striking. It is very clean, but I feel like he relies a lot on the volume and the output. In terms of actual power, like, yes, Shara Bullet, he hits harder than your average fucking middleweight, but it's not by too much in my opinion. For how much cage time he's really racking up, for how many times we've seen him in these back and forth wars, a lot of the time it's just a striking battle, and the fact that he is making it so competitive against guys, and guys are able to land clean on him and take Shara's biggest shots and avoid getting knocked out. I mean, Jesus, Shara's walking away in half of these fights looking at least more busted up than his opponents, even if he's winning. So Shara Bullet, I don't think he has devastating power. I don't think he has too much power. I feel like he relies on the volume, the output, and the precision. He's a great striker, but there's not too much danger all the fucking time. So I'll put him in the B tier. Good example of above average, but nothing crazy. Justin Gaethje, the goddamn highlight, all right? Dana White's favorite fighter. I'm going to put Gaethje in the A tier. Now, everyone, of course, and their mothers would just assume that he's got to be an S. He's got to be an S+. But honestly, hey, man, if UFC was still on Fox, maybe, but you got to consider, other than like the Dustin Poirier head kick, when's the last time really in the past few years that Justin Gaethje has gotten a classic? Justin Gaethje vintage, you know, I sound like Michael Cole here. Vintage Justin Gaethje knockout. But seriously, it has been a long time here. Justin Gaethje, he always has enough power in his hands to be able to keep his fucking opponents guessing. Not guessing, but worried, okay? Like, Gaethje can always crack you. He can drag his opponents into a dogfight. But over the past few years, I feel like he's been a little bit more, he gets the fuck after it a bit less. He's not on the gas pedal. He's not do or die as much as it used to be. And I feel like with that comes less knockouts, less just of his opponents getting cracked or knocked down. Like, yes, he can give Fizzy have a lot of problems on the feet and a lot of shit to be concerned about. But in the grand scheme, Gaethje still has enough power to get these knockouts, to keep you concerned, no matter how good the striker is. Even somebody who is as almighty as Topuria, even he, who would be like a minus 600 favorite, obviously should be, even in the back of his mind, even a little bit concerned getting in the pocket with Gaethje. He has that kind of power. You know what I'm saying? If you're a good enough striker, if you have more power than him, you shouldn't be too concerned. But if you're most fucking people, you should be concerned against the power of Gaethje. I'm going to put him in the A tier, okay? Ian fucking Gary. I gotta put Ian Gary in the C tier. I'm borderline gonna put him in the D tier, but hey, people forget, man. This guy got his fair share of knockouts on the come up. I just feel like with Ian Gary, ever since he started facing ranked opponents, like a little bit of that top 15 competition that's not fucking Daniel Rodriguez, I mean, he's always been a good striker. He's very precise. He's very clean with it, and he knows how to throw his fair share of output, but it's just not devastating with Ian Gary. Like, Carlos Prates got outstruck by Ian Gary pretty fucking cleanly, and there wasn't too much damage on the face of Prates. Prates wasn't getting rocked or really even concerned about a goddamn knockout. I'm sure that was the farthest thing from his mind. I'm sure all he wanted to do was land a goddamn knockout, but Ian Gary, man, it's just, he relies on the precision. He's a clean striker. He's a genuinely good striker, and I like that he's trying to become more well-rounded year by year here, and I like that he's active. I have good things to say, honestly, about Ian Gary, to everybody's fucking surprise, but honestly, the power is one thing he lacks. If he had just a bit more of it, man, maybe I could put him higher. Like, he can wobble, guys. He can put him in danger on the feet, but I feel like, especially as he's facing more elite competition, the percentage of that, or the chance of that happening goes down even more. He's just got average power, you know what I'm saying? Especially for a little bit of the bigger weight classes. Derek Lewis, the Marauder himself. I gotta put Derek Lewis in the S tier. I mean, you know how it be, okay? It's not elite enough or dangerous enough or just fucking wild enough to be an S+. Again, I'm keeping that reserved, but Derek Lewis, it's consistent power. If it's even in the last minute of the fight, you should be concerned. I mean, look at what he did to Volkov. Volkov was beating him up the whole fight, and Derek Lewis has the power to knock you out in the last goings of the fight, and even against a guy like Taliesin Teixeira. Like, right away, what was that, like a 30-second knockout from Derek Lewis? He doesn't discriminate against full violence to anybody, okay? Derek Lewis, whether it's a young upcoming prospect with dreams of becoming a champion, Derek Lewis will shut that shit down and he'll knock you out, okay? And whether it's somebody who's been around the game forever or somebody that's a top 5 opponent that Derek Lewis has no way or really any realistic chance, he could be like a plus 300 underdog and he still has the power to win. Derek Lewis is one of these guys. He is a bit one-dimensional. He relies on the knockout power, but that's what got him in the dance. That's what got this guy fucking 2 title shots, okay? So the power is dangerous for literally anybody, okay? Derek Lewis, skill-wise, is not exactly like the top 5 heavyweight, but the power gives anybody up there a fucking run for their money sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So moving on to next to Renato Moicano, I gotta put Moicano in the F tier. Like, I mean, maybe I could do D. This is one of the first fighter here. I literally gotta look up the stats to make sure. Like, maybe I'm missing a knockdown, maybe I'm missing some key knockouts, but I can't even remember a time where Moicano has really just looked like fucking S tier on the feet, C tier on the feet even. Like, I don't know, man. The power is not there. Let me look this shit right up, okay? I'm gonna keep Moicano in the F tier. He has a couple of ground and pound TKOs, like we saw that against BSD. We, accumulative damage, especially from the ground and pound in the first round. Jalen Turner, ground and pound TKO, but when I'm talking about these guys and specifically their ground and pound, that's not what I'm counting really as their power. I'm talking about the stand and bank, pure striking power. Him versus a punching machine who fucking walks out, okay? Renato Moicano, most of his finishes come from his slick submissions, okay? He's clearly much more of a ground submission artist than anything. I don't even know if ground submission artist is a fucking term. You know what I mean? He's a submission artist above all. His ground game is his bread and butter. That's what he prefers. That's where he's more comfortable in the fight. In terms of his striking, it's okay. It's solid striking, but power specifically, not including ground and pound or any of that shit, I gotta put Moicano, unfortunately, in the F tier, okay? Let me tell you something. I am a pillow puncher, okay? I'm sorry, but moving on, I'm next to Yuri Prochazka. This is a fucking interesting one. I'm gonna put Prochazka in the A tier, honestly. This dude is a motherfucker, okay? Like, this dude is genuinely, it's kind of sneaky with Prochazka, right? Because he's not exactly flatlining people. Like, he doesn't have that one-shot KO power, and I don't think that's why I'm gonna put him in S+ or S. You could argue that Prochazka even can go in B+, but I feel like with how consistently he gets finishes, and with how consistently he's rocking his opponents and knocking them down, like getting rid of Jamal Hill and Alexander Rakic and even more guys, Volkan Ozdemir, Dominic Reyes, he has insane power, and he's also very dynamic and versatile on the feet. The way he's so unorthodox and confuses the hell out of motherfuckers, okay? After you fight Yuri Prochazka, you're going bald, and you're going 2 and 3 years on top of a mountain. You're becoming a monk or a samurai to just try and figure out his fucking style, okay? But for as weird as he is on the feet, and even though he's improving his strike and defense in general and his head movement, in terms of his power alone, I feel like it is kind of something to be concerned about every time Prochazka fights. He consistently is knocking out his opponents or rocking them, and yes, he can get caught in his own right, okay? But really, it's only like the guys with Pereira level power or skill set that are really rocking Prochazka. Like, he's got a durable enough chin and isn't afraid to get fucking scrappy in the pocket to where he's always putting on entertainment. He's consistently either getting knocked the fuck out or getting knockouts, and here and there you'll get a submission over Glover Teixeira of all fucking things, but Prochazka, it's goofy power. It's a bit of Looney Tunes level power here, okay? Him and RDR and DDP are all pointing to each other like the fucking Spider-Man meme. I'm going to put respect in Prochazka's power. He's consistent with it, and it's consistently something for his opponents to be worried about. I'm going to put him in the A tier, okay? Petr Yan, I'm going to put in the C tier. Petr Yan, I fuck with him. One of the pound-for-pound cleanest and most technical fighters and most well-rounded fighters in the entire roster. But in terms of his power, for as good as his striking is in general, I feel like, again, he's one of these guys like a Gary or like a Sharmagomedov a bit, where they kind of rely on the volume, the output, overwhelming guys with their pressure and their technique and their precision. Petr Yan, yes, he's knocking out Uriah Faber and shit like that. But in general, though, when the fuck, I mean, people forget, man, genuinely, when the fuck the last time Petr Yan really got a knockout was. It's been a long time, okay? And Petr Yan, yes, the striking, it's clean, it's so fucking good. I dare say it's pretty and beautiful to goddamn watch. We all love Petr Yan, and we are all entertained, okay? But in terms of his power, in terms of his threat on the feet, that isn't just in terms of how good his striking is and how Yan can go at a heavy pace in the striking for 5 rounds, but the knockout threat really isn't there. Maybe like a fucking Holloway kind of thing where they're overwhelming you with shots to the point to where you're getting TKO'd in the 4th and 5th. Maybe here and there you'll get that with Yan, but we haven't really even seen that yet, especially at the higher level, okay? So Yan, striking is fantastic to watch. It's entertaining as well, but in terms of power, it is just average, especially in terms of the lighter weight classes. I'm sorry, okay? Moving on next to our little fucking iron golem, our little baby zombie, Joshua Van. Joshua Van, I'll put in the B tier. I feel like after the Bruno Silva performance and after the, what's it fucking called? The Brandon Royval performance, okay? He knocked out Brandon Royval once in the last like 10 seconds of the fight after an all-out war with hundreds of strikes, okay? Some Goku versus Frieza shit. And with Bruno Silva, I mean, that was just a butchering. Straight up devastation. He knocked him down. He set the flyweight record for the most amount of knockdowns in a fight. And it was only like 2.5 rounds of actual action, and Joshua Van knocked him down 4 times. Before that, a lot of people, me included, for as much as we love Joshua Van, we are here for his title run. I feel like power is not something that we were all fucking writing home about. Like, we were all kind of concerned a little bit here about the power of Joshua Van, and that could have been something that held him back, especially for the flyweight division. He's a little undersized, and he kind of did like the power before those fights. But recently, man, I'm going to put him in B. I would have said C before. He's just a mini Holloway. You have maximum Holloway and mini Holloway here. Like, he really does rely on the volume and just overwhelming you with all the right shots. Now, I can't put him in B+, because I just feel like it's only so recently that we've really seen the power develop from Joshua Van, okay? He will continue to probably go up. He's only like, what, 23 fucking years old? So the infinite potential for Joshua Van is something that we're all going to be very excited to see. I feel like the power is going to continue to develop. Obviously, his skill set and well-roundedness in general is going to develop, but the power specifically, he is young enough and he's still improving to where I could see him moving up to B+ or A in terms of the next few years of his career and beyond. But for right now, since it's only really the Bruno Silva performance that's really in a knockout in what, like his first 2 or 3 fights, like that's what we're really going off of here in terms of Joshua Van's power. He overly has, I mean, what, like the highest amount of significant strikes in the UFC per minute. The dude is insane on the feet. Crisp boxing, very entertaining to watch. And yes, his opponents should be concerned, but it's more so for the heavy pace and the insane amount of volume. And just Joshua Van, when he's coming the fuck at you, he's like the striking version of Marab in regards to the fact that he will never stop coming at you. He's always trying to fucking either finish the fight or put a heavy pace on you, just outland you, just win the round, okay? So Joshua Van, yes, you should be concerned with his power, but it's not devastating yet, okay? Again, it took hundreds of shots to be able to finally knock down Royval in the last 10 seconds of the fight. So the power's developing, but it's still not anything crazy, okay? Moving on to next, I mean, let's just do maximum Holloway. Let's do the big old one. Hey, it is what it is, brother. We're going to find out July 18th. Let's do Max Holloway. I'll put Holloway in the B tier as well. I mean, fuck, let me think about this, because before the past few fights, before the TKZ run and beyond, okay, I feel like I would have went C with Holloway. I would have pretty much copy and pasted everything that I just said about Joshua Van, pretty much, okay? Really relies on the high output, okay? How did Calvin Kattar survive? Genuinely, okay? But recently, knocking out TKZ, he flatlined him. Knocking out Cole Justin Gaethje, and then knocking down Poirier. Like, Poirier is pretty durable, man. He's got a good chin, and I understand it's old man Poirier, but it's hard to rock Poirier like that. You know what I'm saying? And Holloway just pieced him the fuck up. But we're not talking about how good his striking is. We're not talking about how insane it is to watch Holloway and you're dropping your fucking jaw like Looney Tunes. It's just the pure amount of strikes that are thrown. But I'll put him in B+. I'll put Holloway in B+. At this point in his career, knocking down Poirier and knocking out Gaethje cold, I feel like there's something to be said there, okay? And then flatlining TKZ, like, again, if you're just going off before, okay, like Holloway before he's really like 30 years old, okay? And we're really just going off like him overwhelming Ortega, and that's how he's getting TKOs. And yes, he did knock out Aldo, I believe, and that is impressive as fuck. But I'm just saying, recently, the lightweight run specifically of Holloway, I feel like separates him from B and C to B+. I'm going to put respect on it. Maybe I should keep him in B, but I feel like he's separating himself a little bit at this point. I just rate heavily knocking out Gaethje Cold, the first person to ever fucking do that, and knock it down Poirier. There's something to be said there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna put him in the B+, okay? Moving on up next to Mateusz Gamrot. I'll put Gamrot in the D tier. I don't think he's a pillow puncher. Like, I actually think he has underrated striking, not just in terms of his fucking technique and technical skills, but honestly, I do think that he hits a little bit harder than a guy like fucking Renato Moicano. Okay, Gamrot, he doesn't have too many fucking KOs. I can't really even remember a Gamrot just KO in general, okay? But there are some here and there. And on top of that, I feel like he packs a little more pop behind his shots than a guy like Moicano, okay? Like, there is just a little bit of a threat. Nothing to worry. You have to worry about getting finished or flatlined on the feet, okay? Or even really like a TKO, but it's enough to rock you. It's enough to really accumulate damage, okay? And also, I just think Gamrot has underrated striking in general. So I'll put him in the D tier. Moving on up next to Belal Muhammad, the goddamn S tier.
Hey, against Jack, I wasn't afraid to go against the game plan, I'm the best striker in the UFC, I belong in the S tier, and if you do anything but, I'm gonna find you, okay?
Belal Muhammad, please don't come for me. I'm gonna put him in the D tier because of the Sean Brady TKO, so you have shit like that. And in general, like, look at JDM's face. Look at the picture that's being used to him is PNG of him in the bell, okay, right after he beat Belal. Okay, the picture that's being used around. I see comments that are like, damn, like, how is JDM so busted up? I mean, Jesus, man, Belal, he doesn't have the power to really flatline guys or really rack up any KOs, but his boxing is underrated. He's a good pressure fighter. He knows how to maintain a pretty good pace the whole fight, and the dude can piece people up. But I'm talking about power specifically, right? His striking in general, I do believe is underrated, but the power, it's not enough to really have guys too concerned, but I would say he hits slightly even harder than a guy like Gamrot, and Gamrot I'm putting in the D tier as well. So Belal Muhammad, he's very far from a powerful striker, but again, you get a TKO here and there, and the guy in general, like, he is able to accumulate a lot of damage on guys like Leon Edwards. He rocked Leon Edwards, and there was someone else, I believe he rocked somebody else, and it's like, holy shit, Belal Muhammad, how did he just fucking do that? So there's shit like that, there's moments like that where Belal Muhammad, his striking kind of surprises you, okay? He doesn't really hit too fucking hard, but it's enough. It's enough to be in the D tier and not F, okay? Moving on next to Carlos Ulberg. I mean, this guy had knockout after knockout after knockout on the come up, but it seems like ever since he's gotten ranked, he's kind of just lost that, okay? It was an alright back and forth against Ozdemir, but Ozdemir took all of his best shots, and Blachowicz, old man Blachowicz, yes, Blachowicz has always been pretty durable and hard to finish for the most part, but old man Blachowicz and Ulberg's piecing him up the whole time pretty much, and he's still not really able to have any clean moments of rocking him, or really any threat to Blachowicz on the feet besides just piecing him up over 3 rounds. I'll put Ulberg in the B tier because I feel like I'm just one knockout away from him just being like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, yes, Ulberg does have power. I'm not just going to forget because of his last 2 fights alone. Before his last 2 fights, he was racking up a decent amount of finishes, okay? And most of them were on the feet, I'm pretty sure. But in general, I feel like against this more elite competition, like, yes, he's one knockout away from beating a Dominic Reyes, and I'm like, okay, this guy hits fucking hard. And especially now it's at the top level, so there's that concern for his opponents now. But in general, man, he's kind of slowly been developing into that Adesanya point style kind of fighter here, okay? Very patient, technical kickboxing, and there's nothing wrong with that if you're just trying to fucking win, but his power, I feel like it is dwindling a little bit at the upper level. I'm going to put him in the B tier. It's enough to be concerned against certain guys, but we just need to see how he keeps fighting against ranked competition, because if we get Ulberg with like 5 more decisions in a row, then obviously he's going to move down even more, but you know what I'm saying. Moving on next to Corey Sandhagen, the Muppet himself, the Nerdhagen, okay? This motherfucker, you're never going to find him anywhere but a coffee shop and knee deep in Fahrenheit 451. I'm going to put this guy in the C tier here, okay? He has about a similar power level, I feel like, to Petr Yan. I mean, it's over fucking 9,000, but it's nothing to the point to where Corey Sandhagen is like the Sandhagen of old, and he's flatlining guys, he's getting crazy flying knees over Frankie Edgar. Recently, I feel like Corey Sandhagen has just been becoming such a more well-rounded fighter above all else. Like, the finishing ability has gone down a lot. I mean, yes, the ground and pound TKO over Figueiredo, that's fucking great to see, but you can't lie, okay? Sandhagen was getting decision after decision after decision for a bit of a few years there, and don't get me wrong, most of the time they were pretty fun fights, but just in general, like, he throws very high output, and he's very precise. In terms of being technical, I mean, Sandhagen loves to push up his glasses. This guy loves to be in the gym from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., okay? This guy is just a student of the game. But in general, in terms of the power, in terms of the finishing threat on the feet, I feel like it's been dwindling a lot over the past few years. And even the even the finish over Figueiredo, it was a ground and pound TKO. It's not like he was really rocking him and piecing him up, and then he got sent flying to the fucking ground, okay? And it was a flat KO. Corey Sandhagen here and there, yes. Like, there is enough power in his hands to rack up a lot of damage on guys' faces and just be able to fucking win enough. I mean, look at the fight against TJ Dillashaw. He pieced him the fuck up, and really, a lot of people said that he got robbed and should have won that fight because of damage. That's how Corey Sandhagen really, that's where his power come from. But especially over the past years, it's not enough to really knock you out, if that makes sense. It's enough to be concerned. You don't want to just fucking be on the feet with him for 5 rounds, but also if you're durable enough, it might not be too fucking bad of an idea. Okay, I'm gonna put him in the C tier. Moving on next to Figueiredo. I mean, here's the tricky thing about Figueiredo. I'm stuck between like A or B plus because I'll put him in A tier. I'll put him in A tier. Figgy can crack, okay? I understand he's on a losing skid, but in general, the dude was one of the most powerful flyweights of all time. And at bantamweight, I mean, the dude's able to be the first guy to ever knock down Cheeto Vera. And on top of that, I feel like the bantamweight mold in general has kind of fit him. The dude has solid power, okay? And especially, I understand it was a bit more demonstrated properly at flyweight because these bantamweights are a lot more durable. There's bigger boys in general, but I'm going to put respect on the power of Figueiredo. He's not flatlining guys every time, and he doesn't have more knockouts than everybody you've ever fucking seen, but in general, the power is there. The things that he's able to do on the feet, specifically in terms of his power, is enough for even a guy like Montel Jackson, who's a good precise striker with a good chin. Even he should be worried going against Figueiredo in October, okay? Because the dude can still crack, even though he's reaching Unk status, Grunkle Stan status, I dare say. He's 37 years old. You always got to be worried about the power in Figgy's hands, okay? Especially for these lighter weight classes. I'll put him in the A tier because we're dealing with pound for pound here. Khalil Rountree's up next. Moving on next to Khalil Roundtree. I'm going to put Roundtree in the A tier. Like, I can't put him in B plus because I feel like obviously he hits harder than a guy like Max Holloway, okay? You ever see those songs in the edits where it's like, ooga chaka, ooga dakla, doon da doon doon. Like, that's literally Khalil Roundtree edits, okay? And it's just him flatlining motherfuckers. It's him with the hammer fist looming over Anthony Smith, okay? There's shit like that. Khalil Roundtree, he's powerful as fuck. He's a scary fucking dude. He's made for the edit, okay? But the power, I don't think, is as devastating as people think. Yes, knocking down Anthony Smith and the way he's able to just be so precise against Jamal Hill, but also the power is still there, even through the technicality. Khalil Roundtree is powerful as fuck. He does have a genuine chance of, I mean, even rocking Yuri Prochazka, knocking out Yuri Prochazka. I'm going with Prochazka all day for that fight, but you know what I mean. Khalil against most of these guys in the rankings has enough power behind his hands to where, obviously, that's his primary way of getting shit done. He is aiming for the knockout. He's aiming for violence. And yes, he can go to a decision here and there, even at the upper level against a guy like Jamal Hill, but the power is still fucking there. He knocked down Jamal Hill like 3 fucking times and basically cut his leg in half, okay? The power is there for Khalil Roundtree consistently, and I feel like especially now that he's in the top 5 and he's not too old of a fighter, over the next few years, we're going to see a bit more of knockouts, or especially big moments from him, I feel like, okay? I don't think he's going to become the champ or anything like that, but he's got enough power to put him in the A tier. Moving on next to Merab. I gotta put Merab in the F tier. Hey, guys, I will literally eat Aljamain Sterling and absorb his power to get more striking power. Okay, Merab Dvalishvili, I gotta put you in the fucking F tier. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. What can I even say here, okay? Merab, I gotta give it to you. Not afraid to get in the pocket and get scrappy with Umar and ultimately outstruck him. And against Sean O'Malley, he was looking good in the striking department. He won a round alone against O'Malley, 1 round specifically from his striking. So the striking has been improving a lot over his past few fights. Merab's one of these guys where when he touches the belt, he literally does just get better. He's fucking 35 years old and he's still improving. It's fucking insane. It's like he's spending every other day in the hyperbolic time chamber. But Merab, his striking may be getting better. And obviously he is the champion. He's very fucking good overall as a fighter, but his power specifically is nothing for his opponents to be concerned about. The day Merab is getting knockouts over guys like Sandhagen or TKOs, or even if he's knocking these guys down, I will be shocked. Okay, I will be fucking shocked. Like, picking Merab as an underdog is one thing, but for him to be able to get a standing knockout over somebody, or even even if he got some kind of TKO Bilal Muhammad style, over Sean Brady, I would be fucking shocked. The dude is a pillow puncher, okay? Even if his striking's getting better, I'm going to put him in the F tier. Moving on up next, let's do Umar. Let's do Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar's an interesting white. I just said he's an interesting white. I'm going to put Umar in the C tier. I really don't think Umar has that much power. He has 2 knockouts or TKOs overall in his entire career. And one of them, yes, it was an impressive win he got over Raoni Barcelos. And Barcelos has been on a win streak, I believe, ever since then, okay? So I respect that. Umar Nurmagomedov, that's his only knockout in the UFC, I believe. His striking in terms of his technique is very good. He is a good striker. He's very dynamic. He's very versatile. And he throws really good kicks, okay? He lands nice to the body as well. But Umar, for as good as he is a striker, and he is versatile up there, he's dynamic, I don't think he's powerful. I think he probably hits around a similar level to a guy like Sandhagen and Petr Yan. Only 2 finishes overall in the feet, okay? And I'm just saying that a lot of his danger element comes from just how well-rounded he is. It comes from the last name Nurmagomedov, and it comes from his submission ability. Like, the guy's wrestling is no joke. But the thing about Umar that makes him special, especially compared to a guy like Khabib, is that I feel like he is a bit more well-rounded than a guy like Khabib. Khabib could crack here and there, but his striking did improve towards the end of his career, but it wasn't all that. He clearly relied on the wrestling. Umar is a lot more, I feel like, well-rounded. Like, I feel like his striking and his wrestling are on similar levels in terms of skill, okay? The dude's good everywhere, but in terms of his power, in terms of his danger and threat on the feet, in terms of him rocking his opponents and them actually, I mean, he has 1 knockdown in the UFC as well. It's not even just about knockdowns. 1 knockdown in general in the UFC, and it was against the same guy that he knocked out Barcelos, okay? So Umar, man, I'm dare saying to put him in the D, especially at the UFC level. Like, the striking's very good. He is precise. He's accurate. It's enough to keep guys concerned, okay? He's rocking Marab a little bit here and there, but the power just isn't there, man. We haven't seen the danger and the finishing threat on the feet as much. I'm going to put Umar, for as good as the skills are, in the C tier, okay? Moving on next to Alexander Volkanovski. I'll put Volkanovski in the B tier, okay? Like, it's above average. Is it, though? Okay, actually, is it? I'll put him in the C tier. I fuck with Volk. I rock with Volk in terms of how good of a striker he is, okay? And how high the volume is, for how extreme the output is, for how precise he is, okay? And he does rock guys. And he does have his fair share of TKOs. Don't get me wrong. Volkanovski, his striking is good, but it's the same thing as the rest of these fucks in the C tier, okay? They're all good strikers. Look at these fucking strikers. Umar, Sandhagen, Yan, and Gary, okay? And Volkanovski included. Good striking. But in terms of the power, I mean, you barely see a Volkanovski finish on the feet, especially nowadays, okay? I just think he does lack in the power department. If Volkanovski had the skill set he does, but he had like the power of a Topuria, nobody would ever fucking beat this guy, okay? This guy would beat Thanos himself. Moving on next to JDM. I'll put JDM in the A tier. I respect the power of JDM. I honestly don't think it's as devastating as people say, so maybe I could do the B+. Let me look at his record real quick. Let me pull up his fucking record here. Knocking out Gilbert Burns with the brutal knee, piecing up Bilal Muhammad, really fucking busting up his face. He had like the broken fucking lip, like Alistair Overeem type shit. He knocked out Danny Roberts. He knocked out some fucking Dagestani, Ramazan Eviev. I'm such a casual for not knowing that, okay? And he also knocked out Pete Rodriguez. The power is there. I feel like JDM, what got him to the dance, though, isn't his power. It's how good of a striker he is. But the thing is, it's not like an Ian Gary where, even though they're a good striker, like, he's in the fucking C tier. Like, JDM actually has a lot more pop behind his shots than an Ian Gary. And the thing is, it still applies at the upper level. He's knocking out Gilbert Burns. He's literally beating the actual fuck out of Bilal Muhammad, worse than I feel like an Ian Gary would. I'll put Jack Della Maddalena in the A tier, okay? I feel like he could still knock out a lot of guys in the fucking division. Even though the division is on fire and they're cooking and they're well-rounded or durable, whatever the fuck. JDM has good enough striking, elite enough striking, and powerful enough striking, especially for welterweight, to where, yeah, I will fucking put him in the A tier, okay? Moving on next to Lerone, or not Lerone. Wait, yes, Lerone. I'm fucking up him and Leon Edwards because I got these two next to each other. Lerone Murphy and Leon Edwards, bro. I might as well do these guys back to back, okay? They seem like the same fucking person, except Lerone Murphy. I gotta tip my fucking Ben Askren fro to you. I respect you, sir, and I hope you get a title shot. I genuinely hope this motherfucker gets a title shot, okay? That spinning elbow was fucking brutal. I'm going to put Lerone Murphy in the C tier as well. He can kind of, you know what? Should I do the D tier? No, I'll put him in C. He hits fucking average, okay? He literally, I mean, Pico, it took him like 5 fucking minutes, 10 fucking minutes just to wake up. And in general, yes, like that was the first knockout that Lerone Murphy has gotten since Alex Pereira made his entire UFC run. So it's been a few years before that for an actual finish, or really even just a lot of threat on the feet in general from Murphy in terms of power. But the dude could still crack. He's a good striker. He is well-rounded. And, like, the way he's piecing up Barboza over 5 rounds, shit like that. Like, it's not enough to flatline guys, but the way he accumulates a lot of damage, the way his technique is very fucking good, it's not enough to keep his opponents worried the whole fucking fight, okay? But if you're a Bellator guy, or if you're chinny enough, or if you can get cracked easily enough, chinny enough, whatever the fuck it may be, you should be worried against Lerone Murphy. And apparently now he's flatlining guys to where, yeah, man, Volkanovski fans, even them, me included, I'm a huge Volk fan, we should be a little bit concerned going against Lerone Murphy, okay? I'll put him in the C tier. Leon Edwards, though. Leon Mumblemouth Edwards. Headshot dead, bruv. I simply believe I'm the best fighter in the world, bruv. I might be 0-2 in my last 2, bruv, but I'm coming for the fucking belt. I'm gonna put this fucker in the F tier, bro. I can't stand Leon Edwards. Y'all know this. I genuinely think he's one of the most boring fighters in the entire roster. I think he might be the most boring ranked fighter in the entire roster, okay? That might be an exaggeration, but Leon Edwards, name another finish that this guy has gotten other than the Kamaru Usman head kick. I'm giving y'all time like it's fucking Blue's Clues or Dora. Go ahead. You want a snack? I got like Nature Valley bars and shit. You guys gonna have some, okay? No, that's what I thought. That's what I thought because I can't fucking think of one either, okay? UFC was on Fox and Joe Rogan probably had fucking hair the last time that Leon Edwards has gotten a finish, and I gotta put him in the F tier. He's a good technical striker. His striking, his kickboxing, okay? It is good. Even on the back foot, like this guy is good at striking. He's good at what he does. He's primarily a kickboxer. He doesn't have dick on the ground for the most part against a lot of elite grapplers, but his striking alone is very fucking fluid. And in terms of his build, like the guy is built like a fucking, he's very athletic. He's an athletic fighter, but in terms of the power, in terms of the pop behind his shots, barely any finishes, barely any times he's really rocking guys. If anything, this guy got rocked by Bilal Muhammad in the fucking rematch, okay? The guy's very technical and clean with the striking, and the kickboxing is good, but I feel like there's barely any output. There's barely any danger on the feet, and there's barely any finishes. Okay, there's barely any pop behind his shots for Leon Edwards. Moving on up next to Tom Aspinall. What are we going to do with the other UK fighter that we got here? I'll tell you what, especially compared to the other UKs we got here, Leon Edwards and Lerone Murphy sitting down there, okay? I'm putting Tom Aspinall at the goddamn opposite. He is one of two S-plus fighters in my opinion. I am concerned for the life of Cyril Gane. I don't even fuck with Cyril Gane. I am concerned for his chin. I'm concerned for his durability for the rest of his career after facing Tom Aspinall. Now, obviously, that's going to age like milk if Tom Aspinall loses that fight. Imagine Aspinall gets flatlined in the third round or something, okay? Well, Gane's not flatlining anybody, but you know what I'm saying. Tom Aspinall, the power's insane. Yes, he's well-rounded enough, especially for heavyweight standards, to where, yes, he can submit you. It's crazy to say, even a guy that's as good as Volkov. But man, like the power behind Aspinall's hands literally was enough to make John Jones retire. The undeniable go to the fucking sport, right? And now, I mean, not as much anymore, but now the guy is retired specifically because he didn't want the smoke. He didn't want to deal with the power and the athleticism behind the hands of Tom Aspinall, and that's enough to put him in the S-plus tier, okay? He's knocking out every goddamn top 10 heavyweight, okay? Maybe there's somebody here and there that could drag him in the deeper waters, and maybe it's someone that's going to be able to survive. But literally, man, 9 out of 10 fucking days, I'm seeing an Aspinall KO in the first or the second or the third, a goddamn round. Fourth, fifth, it doesn't matter. The power is there, it's consistent, and it's scary enough to where I'm concerned, to where I'm calling up Cyril Gane's family after just to check in, okay? Jesus, how is he? How is his acting career, okay? Can you talk? Moving on up next to the goddamn opposite. I just put Aspinall in the S-plus tier, okay? Movsar Evloev, I gotta put him in the F tier. I gotta put him in the F tier, my friend. Specifically his power, though. It has come back to bite him in the ass. That's why I mentioned this. Movsar Evloev's lack of finishes and his lack of power on the feet has come back to bite him in the ass because now a guy that's ranked below him and the fact that somebody who I dare say has less impressive wins than Evloev is probably going to get the title shot above him, okay? Evloev, he lacks power so badly that it genuinely has given Dana White and everybody else every reason to, not every reason, but their specific reasons to not want this guy to get a title shot, okay? Yes, you could argue he really does deserve it. A lot of people believes that he does. And I think that Movsar Evloev's striking is underrated. I think he's a well-rounded fighter, and I think that his striking, especially on the offensive, defensive end, whatever the fuck it is, okay? It's good striking defense. There was a solid amount of output, and the guy's clean with it, okay? And he did kind of rock Arnold Allen a bit. But no finishes on the feet in the UFC, okay? And no knocking down his opponents, nothing like that. Like, there's no danger, there's no urgency from Movsar Evloev besides just winning, okay? He does what he needs to do to win, but the dude has no power behind his hands. I'm sorry. He's a pillow puncher. I gotta put him in the F tier. His striking in general is underrated, but it's not enough to rock guys or really put much of a threat, okay? Aljamain Sterling is another one I gotta put in the F tier here. I'm sorry, okay? I mean, I don't know how the fight at UFC Shanghai is gonna go. I'm picking Sterling here, but obviously, it's going to age like shit if Sterling gets knocked out or something. But Ortega looks so fucking bone dry where I wouldn't be surprised if Aljamain Sterling is fucking knocking him out, okay? One shot from fucking pillow hands Aljamain Sterling and Ortega's soul just leaves his body comedically. How the little white cloud, the little white soul just comes floating out of their body like in the Looney Tunes, okay? I could see that, man. But Aljamain Sterling, any other circumstance, any other scenario, I think the guy is underrated striking. The technique, it's there. The output, it's there. But, I mean, fucking hell, dude. Like, there's just no power from Aljamain Sterling. I can't even name a knockout that Aljamain Sterling has ever had. I'm so sorry. Maybe that makes me a casual, or maybe he just hasn't had any. I don't fucking know. But I can't name an Aljamain Sterling knockout. The striking's there, but the power is literally, it's a pillow puncher. It's a Candyman puncher. And even at featherweight, now that he's moving up a weight class, it seems like even though there wasn't any power before at bantamweight, there really hasn't been much that's translated up a weight class, okay? Moving on up next to Gene Silva. I'm going to put Gene Silva in the S tier, to be honest. The thing, too, about Gene Silva's power is that it's sneaky, man. It literally just comes out of nowhere. Like, Gene Silva, he's playful with you. He's dragging you into the later rounds a little bit here. He's laughing. He's touching the gloves. He's literally congratulating you if you land a good shot. And then boom, He just flatlines people. The power, it comes out of nowhere. It's scary as fuck. The way he's rocking everybody, and now he's developing a fucking ground game. Now he's developing submission abilities, and he's fucking submitting Bryce Mitchell of all people, okay? God damn it, brother. Gene Silva's power, it's concerning. Like, the dude's a dog, and he might be autistic as hell, but I gotta respect the power. The striking alone is so fluid. That alone is enough to make people fucking worry, but the power, it just comes out of nowhere. That's what kind of separates himself from a Lewis kind of power, or an Aspinall, or a Gaethje, Prochazka, whatever the fuck. It just comes out of nowhere. It literally shocks you. All of a sudden, the fighter is up here, and all of a sudden they're at point B. They're on the ground. I gotta put Gene Silva in the S tier, okay? Very curious to see how he does against Lopez, against Volkanovski, all these fucking guys, okay? Moving on up next to Alex Pereira. I gotta put Alex Pereira in the S tier as well. It must be fucking Christmas, because we got back-to-back S tiers, okay? Pereira is one of these guys where I can't put him in S+. Obviously, we know how good Alex Pereira's striking is in terms of skill set, but in terms of the power, man, I don't think he's exactly flatlining people, and he has just knockout after knockout after knockout to where I'm putting him in S+, because again, a guy like Blachowicz can survive for 3 rounds, and a guy like Khalil Roundtree can get beat the fuck up and take hundreds of fucking strikes, and he's able to make it to the 4th, okay? Granted, his face looked completely different, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, yes, though, Pereira does have the one-shot KO power to flatline Jamal Hill, to flatline Sean Strickland, okay? But it's even Yuri Prochazka was still able to kind of survive. He's still getting up and shit like that. Like, Pereira has devastating power. It's brutal power. And it's enough to where you should be concerned the whole fight, because look at the Adesanya fight. Even in the first fight, what, was there like 2 minutes left of that fight? And Pereira had the power to fucking knock out Adesanya. Granted, it was a standing TKO, but in general, Pereira has the power to make you concerned from round 1 through round 5. It's always there, and the kickboxing's great, but I don't think it's as devastating and as brutal, and he is the hardest hitter in the UFC, like people say. He's definitely that top 5 worthy. The power is fucking crazy, especially for the upper weight classes. I'm very curious to see if that power would translate up to heavyweight. I mean, Jesus, the guy fought at middleweight and he's fucking rocking people. Okay, but again, Bruno Silva's able to survive, Blachowicz, shit like that. It is doable to make it out against Alex Pereira, okay, and still be unscathed. Not unscathed, but you're able to survive. You're able to talk to your family the next day, okay? Power is crazy, but it's something we've never seen before. Well, it kind of is, but you know what I'm fucking saying. It's enough to be in the S tier, okay? I'm trying to praise and glaze, but also like not put him as number 1 at the same time. It's a very difficult thing to do here. Moving on up next to Charles Oliveira. I'll put Charles Oliveira in the B tier. He can crack for sure. He's got underrated striking, and he flatlined Michael Chandler. But really, Charles Oliveira doesn't. And yes, he's able to knock down Justin Gaethje. He can have his fair share of moments, okay, in terms of the power and his striking. But in general, obviously, Charles Oliveira's bread and butter, what got him to the fucking dance, is his ground game. He's a dangerous submission artist. He wants to try and take the fight to the ground if he can, or even if guys are knocking him down, okay? He's very comfortable on his back. So Charles Oliveira, he has above average power. He can crack a guy like Michael Chandler and beyond. But in general, he's not known for his knockouts. He's not known for his power. He's not known for fucking flatlining guys. Or even when he has piecing them up on the feet. He's just really trying to find a way to get you on your fucking back and submit you. Ultimately, that's his goal at the end of the day, okay? I'm going to put him in the B tier, above average, but it's nothing too crazy here, okay? Joe motherfucking Pyfer. I mean, this is an interesting one because I could put him in the S tier, but I'll put him in the A tier, okay? Like, he didn't knock out Jack Hermanson. He didn't even really rock him too badly here. Yes, he gave him a couple problems in the earlier rounds, but in general, Joe Pyfer, and he still wasn't able to knock out Kelvin Gastelum. There's shit like that. And I get the Kelvin Gastelum. He's never been knocked out before, okay? And Joe Pyfer in that fight knocked him down twice. So that alone, I guess, isn't an accomplishment. And you could argue if Pyfer showed a little bit better of fight IQ and he actually followed up with all the right shots, that he could have knocked out Kelvin Gastelum and been the first to really do that. But in general, Joe Pyfer, like, he can go to the distance here and there. There are times where guys can survive. But again, if you're Marc-Andre Barrieu or you're a bunch of cans or jobbers, whatever the fuck, okay? Or even if you're just a really, any fighter that's outside the rankings, or even within it, like an Abus Magomedov, you should be concerned. The Pyfer of power, or, I'm sorry, the power of Pyfer is something to be fucking concerned about. The dude can send people flying to the moon. He literally can take the soul out of their bodies. He's very consistent with it as well. But again, against Hermanson, against Gastelum, I feel like it's his fight IQ and him not following up with the right shots that kind of stops him from getting KO after KO after KO. But when Joe Pyfer's on and when he really does connect with that perfect fucking shot, he's taking your fucking soul. He's flatlining you, but I feel like he hunts for the finish a little bit too much to where I don't think it comes as naturally. Like, he really hunts for it. That really is his claim to fucking fame here. I feel like if he kind of loosened up a little bit and wasn't just actively just hunting the entire time and through just a little bit more output, shit like that, the finishes would come anyways. The power is consistent. The power is dangerous. It's scary as fuck, okay? Marc-Andre Barrieu. If he didn't fight Char Bullet, I would still be asking if he woke up yet. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of power. Moving on up next to Rafael Fiziev. I'll put Fiziev in the B tier. I think that on the come up, he's getting knockout after knockout, and I think that this guy can crack. He can rock his opponents, and his striking is good. He's got a good Muay Thai base, but in terms of his power, I genuinely think that Fiziev, in terms of power specifically, is one of the most overrated fighters on the roster. His skill set's there. He's good. He's worthy of being in the top 10, and I think he's going to beat Charles Oliveira. But I just don't think he has that knockout power, that brutal power like everybody says, man. Like, yes, fair share of knockouts, and yes, the dude could crack, okay? It's enough to be concerned. I'll put him in the B+, but I just still think it's overrated. I'll put him in the B+, because I think maybe him and Holloway, that you could argue that's like a similar level. Or you could even argue that Fiziev is more powerful. Okay, I'll put him in the B+. That's fucking fair. But I can't put him in the A tier, man. I don't think he cracks as hard as Prochazka, even Figgy, Gaethje. I just fucking don't. I'm sorry. I think his power is so blown out of proportions, okay? And yes, it is there. It is above average, but the way people talk about this guy, like he's the marauder of all marauders. Like his skill set's there. He's getting even better every time he fights, but fuck me, dude. The power is just not King Kong scary. Moving on up next to Paulo Costa. This motherfucker looks like King Kong, but he does not hit like it. I gotta put him in the D tier. I gotta put him in the D. Should I do C? Should I fucking do C? No, I mean, I'll do D. I really can't, man. Like, I mean, this guy hasn't gotten a finish on the feet since UFC was on Fox. And what, it was over, like, Uriah Hall. This guy's last KO, I believe, was over Uriah Hall. And yes, on the come-up, he was getting knockouts. But again, the Reebok shorts were still a thing. UFC was still on Fox, okay? Most of the people that you know and love in the UFC are literally, like, 60% of the fan base wasn't even watching. Most of the guys that are the champions weren't even in the UFC yet. Like, the last time Paulo Costa was known for being a hard-hitting fighter, it's been a long fucking time, okay? Now, I do think he hits harder than a guy like Bilal Muhammad and Matus Gamrot, so maybe it's crazy to have him in the D tier. Maybe I should just put him in the average power tier. But man, he was piecing the fuck out of Roman Kopylov, and the guy was able to beat the fuck out of like Luke Rockhold on the feet, but these guys are able to survive. Like, he has looked good in those two fights specifically, but other than that, he's getting pieced the fuck up, and he's able to like rock Robert Whittaker at the end of round one with, I believe it was like a spinning back kick. I'm pretty sure it was something fucking crazy, but these guys are able to survive, man. Even when Costa is outstriking them, or even when he's in the fight, even if they're getting scrappy with it, the guy isn't really rocking his opponents. He hasn't for a long time now. So maybe in terms of his entire career, his entire fucking length here, I should put him in the C tier. But in terms of right now, this Paulo Costa, man, it might be a crime to say that he doesn't hit harder than a guy like Lerone Murphy, bro, or Ian Gary, but I'm going to stand my base here. Costa, glad he got a win. He looked great in his last performance, but his power is another one that's totally blown out of proportions, okay? Moving on next to Diego Lopez. I'm going to put Lopez in the A tier. I feel like there's a totally good argument for S. But the thing is, even when he's getting these knockouts, man, he's not really flatlining guys most of the time. Like, Ortega, who's chinny as fuck, was able to survive. He made it out the first round. Yes, he got knocked down a bunch, but he's able to survive. Volkanovski, who's been very chinny over the past 2 years, he's able to survive. He gets knocked down, but he's able to be in it. A guy like Sadiq Youssef, okay? Lopez knocked him out in round one, but it was a bit of a process. It was a very slow death. It was uncomfortable to watch at one fucking point because Sadiq Youssef, he was trying to fight. He was still in it, but it just took so many shots. It was so many combinations. Like, Lopez was salivating for the fucking finish, and yes, he finally got it. Yes, it still only took one round. It's very impressive, but the power of Lopez is consistent. It's always something for his opponents to be worried about, but I don't think it's enough to put him in the S tier to where he's consistently knocking guys out, or it's there. Yes, it's there the entire fight. There was a reason why Volkanovski was running away a little fucking bit in that fifth round, okay? I don't blame Volk. I'm going to stand my base there and say that. I don't blame Volk for doing what he did, because if anything, that goes to show how powerful Lopez is. He is that kind of fighter where the power is always on. Volkanovski had every reason to be concerned in the fifth round. He was winning the damn fight. Lopez hits hard as fuck. He had every reason to play it safe. I don't fucking blame him, but Lopez's power, I think I don't want to say a little overrated, because I think it is very fucking dangerous, and it is consistent in every fight. But it's a little blown out of proportions if people put him in like S plus or some shit, or maybe even S. I don't fucking know. There's a fair argument for it, but I'm going to put him in the A tier. Good power. It's consistent, but I think that we were all a little bit more blown away by it when he first got on the scene. You know what I'm saying? Moving on next to Sean Strickland. I'll put Strickland in the C tier. He can knock out Brendan Allen. He can knock out Abu Smagomedov.
Here's the fucking thing, you guys. If you're from anywhere but the USA, I'm literally taking your lights out. I'm gonna go to war for you fucking guys.
Sean Strickland, man, he says he goes to war every time, okay? But pitter-patter decisions here and there. The knockouts don't really come too often. And it's not like I'm exactly looking for knockout after knockout with Strickland to put him higher. The thing why I got to put Strickland in the C tier, you can even argue D or F, is because he lands so much volume. He's primarily a fucking boxer. He'll barely shoot a takedown, okay? Maybe once every few years. he'll shoot a fucking takedown. And yes, his takedown defense is very consistently good. But in terms of his striking, that's his bread and butter. He's a fucking boxer. He loves the Philly shell stance. But man, the guy, for as much as he says he wants to go to fucking war, for as much as he says he's going to take somebody's head off and show it to his fucking kids, okay? He lacks that power. He lacks that finishing ability. He can get it here and there, but it has to be against a very chinny guy or a very specific fucking set of opponent, okay? Against most guys in the rankings, I think that Sean Strickland, yes, he could win or give a lot of problems, but there's barely any of them besides maybe like an Abus Magomedov who I can actually see him knocking out. You know what I mean? So the power just isn't there for Sean Strickland, but I think we fucking know this. I'll put him in the C tier. Moving on next to Carlos Prates, I'm going to put Prates in the S tier. Like, I know everybody's saying, how did Ian Gary survive? How did Ian Gary win? That's the question. Fucking relax, all right? Some of us actually picked Ian Gary, okay? That was one of my better picks of last fucking year. Was that last year? That was just this year. I'll let fucking Luya. That was one of my better picks this year. I got to be fucking honest, okay? Shout out Ian Gary for actually surviving that shit. But the power of Prates, especially we just saw it against Jeff Neal, the first guy to ever really knock out Jeff Neal. Really, even as someone who did pick Ian Gary as myself, how the fuck did Ian Gary survive? How the fuck did Ian Gary survive? Especially in that 5th round. Even me, dude. Like, I'm not questioning how Ian Gary won. But really, man, Prates is so consistently powerful. All of his performances in the UFC were knockouts other than the fucking Ian Gary fight, okay? Even in general, like, he was able to bounce back and flatline Jeff Neal. First person to ever do that. Like, I understand spinning elbow. It was fucking insane to watch, but this dude's dangerous as fuck the entire fight with him, man. But the thing is, he's consistently getting round 1 knockouts. He's not exactly getting dragged into the deeper waters unless it's like an Ian Gary kind of fighter. Prates, man, the power is just such a thing to be fucking reckoned with. I genuinely think this guy could chin or flatline most of the guys in the rankings. Even somebody who I don't think he'll really beat, like an Ian Gary or a JDM or maybe even a fucking Bilal Muhammad. I still think all those guys need to be concerned about the power of Prates. It's something for every one of his opponents, even if they're better than him or more well-rounded than him, and even if they've never been knocked out. Carlos Prates just proved against Jeff Neal, it doesn't fucking matter. He doesn't discriminate against taking anybody's fucking head off. The power is always there. It's scary as fuck, and genuinely, I don't know how Ian Gary is still around. Okay, genuinely, but I don't fucking know. I'll put him in the S tier. Moving on up next to Khamzat Chimaev. I'll put Chimaev in the B tier. He's got great ground and pound, but I mean, dude, his power on the feet in general, he knocked out GM3 and he's rocking guys here and there, but in terms of actual knockdowns and knockouts and big moments in the striking, like, yeah, the dude's striking is good, but in terms of his power, I don't think it's anything too crazy. It's above average, but I mean, Jesus Christ, the dude landed 500 shots on DDP, and I shouldn't even mention that fight. I shouldn't even mention it because we really didn't see any just pure striking against DDP, so I shouldn't even mention any of that performance alone, okay? But the rest of Chimaev's career, okay, excluding ground and pound, just purely the power behind his hands, I think it's above average, but other than the knockout of GM3, like, Chimaev, he clearly relies on the submissions. He clearly relies on the grappling. That's his fucking bread and butter. We know this, okay? I'll put him in the B tier. Moving on up next to MVP, I'm gonna put MVP in the C tier, and I honestly kind of want to go D, but I won't, okay? MVP, his striking, man, I feel like against pretty much anybody in terms of a pure striking battle, he's gonna win. It doesn't even matter if they're like a better fighter overall. If it's just a striking fucking battle, I don't see anybody in the fucking rankings. Or really, there's a couple here and there, maybe a JDM or something like that, but it's so fucking hard to beat MVP where he fucking shines like that. But I feel like in terms of power, it is just average. For how clean he lands, and for how difficult he makes it for guys to land on him, because the headwork is there, the footwork is there, and he's fast as fuck. He's so fucking fast at some Ultra Instinct shit. It's just like, how does he not get more knockdowns, okay? I can't even remember a time he really knocked anyone down in the UFC besides fucking Jared Cannonier, and that was recently. Maybe Kevin Holland. I could be wrong there. Like, maybe he did knock down Kevin Holland, but MVP, the power is there, but for how good his striking is, for how clean it is, for how hard it is for other guys to land on him, I'm surprised that MVP doesn't get more knockdowns, more knockouts in general. Like, it's a bit of a dull decision fest we've seen in his UFC run. He's very fluid and clean with it, but the power is just kind of average. Like, if the guy had a lot more finishing ability, like if you put the power of Prates or Gaethje, whatever the fuck, in the hands of MVP, nobody would fucking stop him, even with the ground game he has. You know what I'm saying? But it's just not there, it seems like, okay? I'll put him in the C tier. It's just a bit average here. Moving on next to Paddy Pimblett. Not much to say about Paddy. I'll put him in the C tier. I think that he has underrated striking for sure. Underrated striking, but I don't think it's anything too powerful in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to put him in the C tier. I'm going to speed run through these next few, to be honest with you, okay? We're already almost at a fucking hour. I'm going to speed run through these next few here. Ilia Topuria, I'm going to put as another S+. I mean, you could argue maybe not, and maybe it's just S, but I'm putting Topuria as another one of the S+, okay? to be the first person to flatline Holloway and first person to really knock out Holloway. He only had one knockdown ever fucking before that, okay? To be able to do that, to be the second person to ever flatline Alexander Volkanovski. And the thing is, like, yes, it was a 3-month turnaround, but at least it was a little bit more impressive of a knockout than Makhachev's because it wasn't a fucking, it wasn't a tubby bulk on 10 days notice. Topuria was able to do that to Volkanovski. He's the first person really to be able to, like, flatline Charles Oliveira. Oliveira has been TKO'd before. He's been knocked out before, okay? But flatline like that, where his eyes are rolling in the back of his fucking head. I mean, he's been finished, he's been TKO'd, but knocked out like that, Topuria is the first person to ever do that. And yes, occasionally, like, you have guys that can survive. Josh Emmett, man, people forget, man, this guy stood in front of Topuria for 5 rounds, and yes, it looked like he was entirely a different person afterwards. He took a brutal fucking beating. It was like a 50-44. It was fucking brutal. It was a great win for Topuria. The striking was fucking devastating, but Emmett's still able to survive. You know what I'm saying? Then most of the time, especially nowadays, as Topuria, his striking has gotten even better and shit like that. The power will continue to improve. He's only like 28 or 29 years old. The dude is entering the middle of his, he's just fucking entering his prime. The power is going to continue to develop, okay? It's already scary as fuck. Like, it's at this point where I'm concerned for the life of Saryukin. I'm concerned for the life of Gaethje. I'm concerned for the life of Pimblett. Like, Topuria has this power where just him winning via knockout, it's got to be the thing where if you're a betting man and you're looking at those betting odds, it's got to be someone that is the most favorable thing to maybe invest in. If you're betting on a Topuria fight, the knockout could always fucking be there. The power is scary as fuck. I'm gonna put him in S+. And also, he's doing this at the lighter weight classes and at the most elite level. I mean, he just got the most impressive back-to-back-to-back wins in UFC history, and he's flatlining all of them. So that's the fucking thing. Aspinall, yes, he's knocking out Ty Burrow and Blades and these guys, and the power is devastating, but Topuria is doing it in one of the best weight classes, and it's just fucking crazy. And at the lighter weight classes too. So it's crazy to fucking see, okay? Moving on up next, now we're really going to speed run, okay? Dominic Reyes, I'm going to put him in the A tier. I'm going to honestly put respect on the power of Reyes, man. The dude fucking cracks. It's kind of a people forget, man, kind of pick. Like, you don't realize how hard Reyes hits until you kind of fucking do, okay? The entire win streak he's on right now, he knocked out Smith, he knocked out Krylov, he knocked out Jacoby. And before that, he's knocked out Chris Weidman, he's knocked out Jared Cannonier, and he's knocked out whoever the fuck he fought in his UFC debut. I don't fucking know how to pronounce the guy's name, or I don't even know the fucker's name, okay? And again, he's piecing up John Jones on the feet. In general, like, Dominic Reyes, he's not flatlining guys every time. Well, the win streak he's on right now, yes, he is. But he's not flatlining guys every time. But the power is underrated, man. I get primarily he's a boxer anyways. He's got good takedown defense, yes, and shit like that. But the striking is how we got to the dance. And the power is something that's pretty underrated with Reyes. Like, when you think of the heavier hitting light heavyweights, I feel like Dominic Reyes isn't one of the first or second or third to come to your mind. But he's fucking up there. I'm going to put him in the A tier, to be honest with you, okay? Israel Adesanya, I'll put him in the B tier. It's above average, but I feel like, I mean, this guy wants his life to be an anime, so here's an example I'll use. Like, it's literally like one of these examples in anime. What is it? Like a Naruto with the 9 tails. It's like a Luffy with the 5th gear. It's whatever the fuck, but they're picking and choosing when they want to just access the power to finish the fight. That's really it. You know, when you're watching a fucking anime or a show or whatever it may be, and you know that the main character could just fucking level up or access whatever the fuck they gotta do to be able to finish the fight, but they just don't until the most critical moment. It seems like that's what Adesanya is. He has the power to flatline Whitaker. He has the power to literally fucking, it seems like a first-degree murder over Alex Pereira. He has the potential to do that, but at the same time, he just doesn't access it. You get stinker after stinker with Cannonier and Vittoria and shit like that. Even when he's winning, even when he's ahead, okay? Even if he's fighting somebody like Romero who was barely throwing any shots. Adesanya, it's just the power is so on and off. It's like he can crack the entire time, but he just chooses when he wants to fucking access it. Depends how much he fucking hates you in the build-up. That's what it seems like. I'm going to put him in the B tier. It's above average, but it's so inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Kamaru Usman, right now, at this stage in the fucking game, I'll put him in the C tier. Just hits a bit average. I mean, his striking looked worse than it has in years and years and years against, who was it, fucking Joaquin Buckley. Great performance from him. Great win. But the striking in general, like, I haven't seen it look that rough since Kamaru Usman even beat Tyron Woodley, okay? I just think it's a matter of old age. He is getting fucking up there. He's slower than he's ever been, and obviously he isn't hitting harder than he's ever been. Prime Usman, I'd probably put in like a B+, maybe a B, something like that. He was capable of flatlining guys here and there, you know what I'm saying? Getting his fair share of KOs, especially when winning the belt. But right now, it's enough to where, yeah, maybe he can rock a couple of guys, but I feel like his wrestling is going to be how he gets wins nowadays, and that's really going to be his bread and butter. It kind of always was, but you know what I mean? Before he can kind of crack a bit. Old man Usman, current Usman, I'll put in the C tier. It's kind of just average power. Sean Brady, I'll put in the F tier. I can't think of a Sean Brady finish on the feet. His submission game is so fucking dangerous. His wrestling is so fucking good. He's bringing pride back to USA Wrestling. Thank you, Jesus. But Sean Brady, I'm going to put in the F tier. There's no power or threat on the feet, to be honest. His striking is improving over his past couple fights, but it's not powerful yet, okay? Brendan Allen, I'll put Brendan Allen in the D tier. His striking is underrated. He can crack, honestly, here and there. But in terms of getting knockouts, in terms of really, cracking to where the point to where he's got good pop behind his shots, there's not much there. I'm going to put Brendan Allen in the D tier. He's known for his wrestling. It's what got him to the fucking dance. His power is not something that he's really showing off, okay? Moving on up next to Steve Garcia. I'll put Steve Garcia in the A tier. The power is scary as fuck, to be honest. I understand that he just took Calvin Kattar to a decision, but every other win he's ever had in the UFC has been a fucking knockout. Elbows, punches, whatever the fuck it may be. He's got knockout after knockout after knockout, and quite a decent amount of bonuses, okay? Steve Garcia, man, he's here to bring the fucking power. His striking, he's still young, he's improving. And yes, Calvin Kattar, he took him to the judges' scorecards, but Kattar, it's so hard to finish him. He's durable as all fuck, okay? He can get beat the fuck up, but he survived the Holloway murder, okay? Keep that in mind. He's got all knockouts besides his recent win. I'm going to put him in the A tier, okay? Joaquin Buckley, I'll put in the B+ tier. Joaquin Buckley can fucking crack, man. He's a good striker, good boxer. The power is there. I'll put Joaquin Buckley in the B+ tier. And the last one we got is Robert Whittaker. I'll put Whittaker in the D tier, to be honest. I think he's a good, well-rounded fighter. His striking is clean. And obviously that's kind of like, yes, he can wrestle. Yes, he can mix it up on the ground. But his striking is kind of a key element to how he's getting these wins, okay? He's very good at piecing guys up over 5 rounds. He's a lot more of a patient and technical fighter. Striker specifically, but the power just isn't there. Yes, he kind of flatlined Alice Garib, okay? But it was the same combination. It was the same kind of uppercut that Khamzat Chimaev knocked him out with. But in general, like, you get those knockouts here and there from Whittaker, but there's not too many in the grand scheme of things, okay? The striking is good, and he could put on entertaining scraps with that half the fucking time, but I just don't think the power is too there for Robert Whittaker, okay? I'll put him in the D tier. And that's going to be it, boys. That is going to be it for this tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you made it this far, in the video, genuinely, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, okay? Thank you so very much for giving me your time and attention. All the smoke here, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which fighters should I put higher? Which fighters should I put lower? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Let me know your thoughts in the tier list below and what you would do differently. And I just appreciate y'all in general, man. All the smoke here, man. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give this video a like. Please hit subscribe. I appreciate y'all, man. Endlessly, okay? Thank you so very much. Please, thank you. Hope you have a good one, boys, and I will see you all next time.